host, Alex Jones, and we are going to be live here for the next 10, 11 hours or so. And again, in the future, we're going to have even more reporters and crew. We'll be able to easily go 24 hours straight or longer. But this is the big official foundation of our entire media operation to awaken humanity to the globalist peril. This is the big radio show. We also simulcast video at Infowars.com and, of course, PrisonPlanet.tv. Bottom line, you know that I've been saying there'll be false flag, IED, improvised explosive device attacks all over the country because I know the scripting. And the globalists always train police and others for the narrative they're going to carry out, whether it's staged events, provocateur, or organic, which are very rare. These terror attacks are rare, period. The system will use this to roll out TSA in the malls, on the streets of America, and basically a ratcheting up of the overall martial law type atmosphere. Before I went live, Obama spoke, and we're going to find that clip. It was about 30 minutes ago. And I watched his press conference. It's Obama's new press conference. It's up at whitehouse.gov. He was wearing a really ugly tie, black and white speckled tie, people that want to be able to find which one of the fear-mongering press conferences it was. And he says, listen, I'm telling you it's terror. Like, oh, now it's terror because the president said, like, you go outside, it's a blue sky. I don't know if it's daytime. You go turn on the press conference. Oh, the president says it's daytime. It's daytime. Or if it's nighttime, you've got to have the, tune into the president. The president's like, it is nighttime in the Eastern time zone. You go out and go, okay, it's nighttime. Obviously, this is terrorism. Bombs at a world-famous sporting event, killing people. That is an act of terrorism, I heard some talk shows last night going, well, only if it was a political group. No, terrorism is an individual, group, corporation, it doesn't matter, doing something to scare a population into something political or military or financial you want, or it can be if you're just insane. And I'd say there's maybe one chance out of 100, conservatively, that this is some lone nut. Now, I came out as this was announced with Richard Belzer. Within 2 minutes of it happening, our phone system filled up with people saying that they'd seen this. So we were one of the first to report it right as it was only tweeted by the Boston Globe. And I said, look, it's Patriots Day. They're probably going to blame this on right-wing groups or Muslims. But notice how now they're saying right-wing and Al-Qaeda. It just goes together. Regardless now, is it right-wingers? There's only one thing as bad, Al-Qaeda. So we have seen all of that basically pushed in everyone's face. And so they're mixing and conflating the two. And within 10 minutes, Salon, Mediaite, The Blaze, Glenn Beck came out and said, how dare, so the George Soros groups and then Glenn Beck came out and said, how dare you say this could be staged and that it'll be blamed on the Tea Party. Now, within an hour, and I'm not exaggerating, I have 10 different clips. We're not going to play them all. I'm sure you've seen them. We'll play some where they said, the number one suspect is right-wingers. The White House has come out and said that. Axelrod, Obama thinks bombings could be related to tax day. The Young Turks, same deal. MSNBC, CNN, right-wing extremists, CNN to blame for explosions. I had tried everything. I'd cut back the amount of food I was eating. I was lifting weights and jogging, but nothing was working. My body was literally starving for minerals and trace elements as well as key vitamins. And as soon as I had that, I immediately could eat half of what I was eating previously and be satisfied. Now, there are hundreds of great products at InfoWarsTeam.com, but I want to point out the 3 that have helped me lose 37 pounds in just 2 months. Products like Beyond Tangy Tangerine, Pollen Burst, and Rebound. When I started taking the Tangy Tangerine and other products every day, I lost more than 37 pounds in just 2 months. Now that's results. I want to challenge my listeners to go to InfoWarsTeam.com and to order just 3 of their products, and you will see the changes in the way you look, feel, and in your appetite almost immediately. Start your journey to health and wellness today. InfoWarsTeam.com. Ladies and gentlemen, while we are busy analyzing what really happened at the mystery false flag, while we're busy watching the White House surrogates come out and say, oh, it's a right-wing Tea Party person, that was very predictable. I was attacked just minutes after it happened by known White House front groups like Salon and others, and, of course, Media Matters, which isn't actually run by the White House, for saying, hey, they're going to blame it on the Tea Party. And then minutes later, they did in those very publications. I mean, this is the magnitude of, I say, watch, they're going to blame us, or they're going to try to, and then they go, look, you're a crazy conspiracy theorist, but yes, we are going to try to blame you. But you're wrong because you're right, and you're crazy because you're right. It'd be like if I was sitting there fishing in a rowboat, and there was a bridge over it, and I saw a sports car fly off the road at 100 miles an hour off the bridge, and I said to myself, hey, that's going to crash into the side of the bank or into the water. And if I looked at somebody, you know, in those few seconds, they said, you're a conspiracy theorist. As the car is Dukes of Hazzarding out over the river, hey, that thing's going to crash. Oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. You see, none of us are allowed to be involved in the narrative. None of us are allowed to speculate, ask questions like, gee, it's Patriots Day in Boston. Gee, do you think they're going to try to blame a right-wing group? They were only putting out Southern Poverty Law Center and ADL memos last month saying domestic terror attacks are imminent. We warned you right before the Oklahoma City bombing. We warned Bill Clinton. And now we're warning you, Obama, the attacks are imminent. You can look that up. And you've got all these dramas and sitcoms and movies with propaganda placement saying the Tea Party is going to bomb people at public events, and they're the new enemy, not Al-Qaeda. And then you have this happen where the country started, where the Revolutionary War, where 1776 started in 1775, Lexington, Concord, Boston. Patriots Day, April 15th, in Boston. The real Patriots Day is the 19th. Stuart Rhodes is on his way there, driving right now. He's going to be joining us later in the broadcast of Oath Keepers. And he's like, oh, yeah, false flag all over it. A constitutional lawyer, Army paratrooper, head of Oath Keepers. And look, they may change the script. You know, when their stuff doesn't go well, like the Olympic Park bombing, they'll try to frame a patsy like Richard Jewell. I mean, the World Trade Center was bombed by the FBI in 1993. The New York Times reported they cooked the bomb, trained the drivers, found guys with 75, one had a 75, one had an 80 IQ. They were both on welfare, and their test scores got released. I mean, they were literally mentally retarded Muslims who then the FBI informants like, you're going to give them real bombs now? And he figured out they were going to set him up, so he recorded them saying, go ahead with the bombing, and that's the only reason that Ahmad Salam got paid off $1.4 million and went back to Egypt. He was an Egyptian CIA guy for their CIA. And he figured out, he gave a press conference with his lawyer the day after. He goes, and I figured out they were setting me up. I'm not stupid. They promised you build a fake bomb. Now build a real one. Fake detonators. No, now real detonators. Now load the truck. No, I don't want to load the truck. Well, you've got to. Well, now just let them drive it and we're going to stop them. And the day before, he starts recording them because he was not stupid. He's like, oh, my gosh, they're going to set me up. They did set McVeigh up 2 years later. And that's a little lesson for you, folks. Don't take part in a drill. 7/7, they set up local mainline liberal Muslims who were school teachers and stuff to be part of a terror drill. One of them figured it out, and the police killed him at Canary Wharf. That was in the back of the paper. They bombed the same trains, the same bus at the exact same time, and even reported, we're going to play this later, on ITN and BBC, the head of Visor Consultancy hid it in plain view, Peter Power, formerly the head of Scotland Yard PR, Public Relations, that, they ran a drill with the Metro and with the Metro Police and Scotland Yard of bombing the exact two trains and exact bus at the exact same time. Wait, it gets better. At the exact same location. We had an insurance actuary done on that. It was in the, I think it was 23 plus Trek-Gillians. That's billions of times more than all the grains of sand estimated in the world. And then they hit it in plain view, which is something they always do. Now, why do they always run a drill? Madrid stage bombing. It came out in their Spanish papers. The president had to resign on 3/3/2003. Had to resign when it came out that the intelligence agencies and the Madrid police did the bombing. And they ended up blowing up a house full of the patsies. Putin's been caught in '99 planting bombs in a fourth building. When they got caught, the FSB, Federal Security Bureau, by local Moscow police, suburb of Moscow, they said, oh, it's part of a drill, let us out of jail. You run the drill on 7/7. You run the drills declassified on 9/11 of the exact same buildings, the Pentagon and the World Trade Centers attacked by hijacked jets. And that's why NORAD tapes got released, and they go, is this real world or part of the exercise? Again, ladies and gentlemen, this is how criminal elements do this. And that's why when you know this and watch this, you've seen it over and over again. And now what came out, which they're freaking out about and having their surrogates come out and demonize. No one in mainstream media is covering this but drudgereport.com. And that's not even really mainstream media. Drudge has a link to this story that is in local news. When I say mainstream, national's not covering it. Local 15 TV out of Boston. We're going to get to this in a little while, the video of it. Document cam, please. coach, bomb-sniffing dogs, spotters on roofs before explosions. Well, now they're not calling them police spotters. Go to Drudge. And now it's the mysterious manhunt for the mysterious man in the hoodie. There were cops all over the roofs in hoodies. We've got the video. We've got the photos. Now, people try to spin that, and they say, well, you know what's happening here. They always have bomb-sniffing dogs now at all these events. Aren't you glad they're keeping us safe? Ladies and gentlemen, let's go further. Ollie Stevenson, the marathon coach, University of Mobile's cross-country coach, who was near the finish line of the Boston Marathon when a series of explosions went off, said he thought it was odd there were bomb-sniffing dogs at the start and the finish lines. They kept making announcements to the participants, don't worry, it's just a training exercise. Now, our own Dan Badandi, said Allie Stevenson on Local 15, that is nowhere in the national news, unless it's the alternative news of Infowars.com, PrisonPlanet.com, PrisonPlanet.tv, and DrudgeReport.com. And I did tune in last night to the guest that's joining us, Doug Hagman of the Northeast Intelligence Network, who was on Monday saying staged attacks to be blamed on patriots are imminent. Obama is doubling down, according to his federal source, who I was able to talk to yesterday. In the morning before this happened, he said, get ready. They're looking to blame something on the patriots or the Muslims, probably the Muslims. And he said, that's all I can tell you. And I need to call that guy back. The point is that imminent is the word. Well, it was imminent. And that's why I came on air yesterday, 3 hours before it happened, and I said, we've all got to unify as the liberty movement. If you support the Bill of Rights and Constitution, transcend liberal, conservative, we've got to understand if there are attacks, giving our rights up won't protect us. I could feel it in my bones. Attacks are imminent. And I said, they'll want to have the shot heard around the world. They'll want to pull the trigger because whoever shoots first loses, but blame it on us. I said that 3 times during the show yesterday. Don't even have the crew to go pull it. I just remember it because I said it over and over again. And isn't it funny? Where the shot heard around the world happened in Boston. In the very same few days. And I'm telling you, this is epic what we're seeing happen. Now, when their first story fell apart in the Olympic Park bombing, they went and set up a patsy. They set up 3 people for the anthrax attack. Turned out it was super U.S. weapons grade, Fort Detrick, Maryland. The third patsy they grabbed, they took to a hospital, a doctor, drugged him and killed him. It was a line in the back of the local paper that while in a straitjacket, he was fed prescription Tylenol till he died. Okay? So, I would say 99% of people in the military and the police and the bomb squads are not terrorists. Okay? but there isn't really any terrorism or any bomb stuff going on. And usually it's a crazy firefighter or a crazy cop that does it. I mean, look at how many criminology cases it's someone on the bomb squad who 10 years of never having a real bomb and blowing up shopping bags that blow out of trucks on the side of the highway, they'll go plant a bomb. And it's always back of the paper. So criminology-wise, that's who you look at. And still, it's a very small minority of them that do it. But statistically, it's a much larger minority than the public. But if you look at all of these events, that's the main suspects. And for people to go, how dare Alex Jones, Media Matters, Salon, Mediaite, Glenn Beck, God bless him, all of them coming out attacking me for saying, A, they're going to blame the Tea Party or try, which then happened exactly as I said. I mean, it's a no-brainer. It's like, if I stick my hand in a red-hot fire, I'm going to get burned. I mean, it's like, okay, there's been an attack on Patriots Day. It looks staged. Preliminary stuff, there were drills. That's now been confirmed. Okay, bomb-sniffing dogs everywhere. Okay, they're having a drill. Looks like a false flag. I mean, you have groups that have done this over and over again that are saying it's going to happen with every TV show, drama, sitcom at a crescendo that the right-wingers are going to bomb everybody. They had a Family Guy that aired 2 weeks ago where the dad, who's a Tea Party guy, joins the Taliban. Again, that oxymoron that they're still pushing it until people believe it. West Point says it. Army to crush Tea Party rebellion, Forbes, AP, Reuters. You're like, that doesn't make sense. No, it will make sense. Family Guy has him at a subconscious level. It's almost subliminal. We're going to play this coming up. It's up at Infowars.com. Bombing the Boston Marathon at the finish line with 2 bombs with a cell phone detonator.
Is it not, my king, time to spring the trap?
No, we must desecrate the soul and the flesh of the Creator's creation.
The chain of life broken forever. A monument to our beauty.
All right, getting back to what I was breaking down here, you can bet that they're now announcing the new security measures, TSA, troops on the streets, checkpoints, you're all suspects, and America's going to be strong and united in the face of this. And Obama's approval rating is already going up, and he's up there saying, we face down the terror together, and he's the father figure. He's the guy protecting us as the big daddy. And this will be used to, across the board, take our basic liberties and our freedoms. And during the break, I was watching CNN just breathlessly, and we've got victims, and let's cut to this senator, and the senator's all smiling. It's all about the government cult getting to have everybody tune into them. Because the only time dinosaur media gets viewers or attention now is when there's a big event. And so they're all a bunch of narcissists up there and spreading the fear, but don't worry, we'll bring you a third world police state to keep you safe. And while we are distracted, while we are diverted by all of this, they are racing through the Senate now with the gun registration and psychological gun confiscation program that basically overthrows much of the Second Amendment. They're racing through with total open border legalization. And where Homeland Security has its own discretion whether to control the border at any level, which they've already opened up and are doing blanket fiat amnesty anyways. I mean, that's all on record. So we've got that going on. All of this is unfolding right now, right as they're trying to pass their whole globalist North American Union, agenda, right as they're trying to get warrantless wiretapping codified into law, right as they're trying to expand all this, just like 9/11 was used to ram through the Patriot Act and all the rest of it. And when 9/11 wasn't enough to get rid of the Bill of Rights and Constitution, oh, then there was the anthrax attack that somebody could have made in a bathtub in their basement. Turned out the most weaponized U.S. government version ever. And they finally killed the third patsy to shut them up. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to get to this later in the hour. But if you go up to Infowars.com, you can see all of these different videos, all these different interviews we're going to cover during the next segment, where you've got eyewitnesses openly reporting the fact that they were told it was a drill, never mind, don't mind what was happening, right around the area right before the bomb went off. And there's two ways to look at that. You can say they were right on it trying to stop it. They had intel and they tried to save us. Of course, they pulled back right before the bombing happened. Or you can look at it as they were there using the drill as the cover in case some other agency or group stopped them, which is what they use the NSA for, is to make sure their false flags, other things don't get caught. And now that our own Dan Badandi in 2 different press conferences with the police chief, the mayor, and the governor, our own East Coast reporter Dan Badandi made national news just asking real questions about, hey, now there's the Huffington Post, Boston Marathon bombing brings out conspiracy theories. That means people that are willing to go, hey, there was a drill, and the police say, no, there wasn't a drill. The police chief says there was no drill. The governor says there was no drill. And then Badandi goes up to the police after the press conference and says, was there a drill? And they say, no, no drill. So they're telling witnesses, there's a whole bunch of witnesses in local news. National news isn't picking it up unless they say it's a conspiracy theory. They just point at us and go, look at these weirdos bringing this up. When we were there, Badandi was there with the Boston Globe going, they say there was a drill. And other witnesses on News 15 are saying there's a drill. What were the drills for? And they're like, nope, that didn't happen. It's just like with Dorner. We're going to burn this down. Burn that mother effer down. Bring fire. We've got the fire. Just place the fire. The fire is lit. The building is burning down. Good job. It's burned down. We killed that mother. They're like, hey, conspiracy theorists, that doesn't mean what you think it said. Burn that mother effer down doesn't mean burn that mother effer down. And now we're like, hey, what were the drills? That's what any real journalist would ask. What happened? They're like, no, there was no drills. There was no drills. So, see, they're covering up. Folks, they're as guilty as a pig and you know what.
I'm Darren McBreen, and these are some of the new items that are available now at InfoWarsShop.com.
Alert the public to Obama's blatant abuse of power with the new Obama t-shirt. Obama's Joker face on the front and come and take it on the back. It's time to publicly call him out for what he is, a tyrant. Defend the Second Amendment with our top seller Come and Take It t-shirts. And look at that, women's cut tank tops and t-shirts now available. Nice hat. Plus the Don't Tread on Me flag. And now you can become a micro distributor of the InfoWars magazine. Plus, get your own copy delivered right to your door each and every month. And if you're tired like I am of you and your family being exposed to polluted drinking water, get the Pro One high performance water filter. It gets rid of all pathogenic bacteria, cyst, fluoride, heavy metals, and numerous other contaminants.
So join the revolution at InfoWarsShop.com.
My friends, we're going to open the phones up in the second hour. And then we've got Joel Skousen popping in. We've got Doug Hagman coming on. And we've got the head of Oath Keeper, Stuart Rhodes, who's on his way to Boston for the April 19th commemorations there with Oath Keepers. We're going to be getting to all of that today with those guests popping in. And in fact, I'll open the phones up now and get to some of them by the next segment if I'm able to get to all these clips. I want to get your take on what you're witnessing. You know, let me do this. I want to hear from police. Police who've heard me on the air say they'd have these type events and blame it on patriot groups. And even if they end up going with a Middle Eastern group, because there's a low probability it could be a real terror group from the Middle East, that some of that does happen. Usually it's provocateured, allowed to happen, sometimes staged. We know they're going to use the crisis to take our liberties. But it could be that. But the media certainly has tried to go with 9 out of 10 times, I mean, I've been immersed in it. I know you have been as well. All the channels, all the news, that it's a Tea Party patriot on tax day that did this. We're going to play some clips of that in a moment. Now, did Salon, Media Matters, all these other White House connected groups, did they come out and go, wow, Alex Jones is right? No, they said I was wrong to say we'd be blamed, but went on to blame us. And again, that's called Jim Jones level cultism by these authoritarians that like to basically pose as liberals. Now, Rush Limbaugh came out, it turns out, and said that they'd probably blame us after he went off air yesterday. A bunch of Michael Savage talked about it. Others did. One guy came out and immediately said I was wrong, and that was Glenn Beck. While having articles, we're going to show this to TV viewers, and I'm going to mention the headlines to radio listeners, saying they're going to blame the right wing, but I was bad to say it, though. No, I was bad to say it first. You see, I was supposed to sit there all cowardly, and I'm not supposed to speculate. I'm supposed to wait till the known lying federal government who ran Fast and Furious and other false flags they've been caught doing that killed thousands of people. You don't see them personalizing each one of those dead like they're doing these dead. I mean, they are just using this. And that's how you know when they're ready, when they script it, the way the whole thing's scripted, the crescendo of media coverage. And then you've got a drill from the start to the finish. Oh, and I forgot, Rob Dew's brother-in-law, who he argues with on a weekly basis about the New World Order and stuff, who is in military intelligence, pretty high level. You know, he's married to the guy's sister. He runs for the Team Army, for the team. I mean, he was in the official Team Army marathon truck, you know, that sometimes wins. I mean, dude's been on vacation with him. He runs, you know, gets up at 3 a.m., runs 20 miles, and is, back in the, early afternoon, ready for lunch. I mean, and the point is that what he heard from his wife who talked to him was, yeah, it's weird. I'm going to the hospital now. They pulled me out and said I was showing signs of dehydration right before the end of the marathon. Oh, let's get Team Army. By the way, we're going to find out because now they won't talk to us. I'm sure the word went out. I should have waited later. I just got in the heat of the moment. It was like blabbing about it on air. I should have before they figured it out and shut it down. If he never talks to Rob again, Rob Dew, we'll really know the fix was in. But if they pulled more members of Team Army, because there was a whole, quote, large truck of Army runners. You've seen them on the news, wearing the Army shirt. Hey, we're the Army. We win the marathon. And it's just bizarre. Absolutely bizarre, small world, because Rob Dew was also part-time in a band that Joe Stack was in, who reportedly flew his plane to the IRS building in Austin. That's why the footage we released ended up being on the national news of Joe Stack, playing the guitar. And he was not even into patriot right-wing stuff when Dew knew him a decade ago. He was just a real quiet guy, a really good guitar player who never talked, didn't talk very much. Just always showed up on time, always did a great job. And IRS took his house, ruined his life. Joe Stack might have been a real deal. I mean, you never know. And that's why there are some real deals. I mean, there is a chance, and I said this yesterday, that this could be a real deal. But you look at the media buildup, you look at the timing, you look at the demonization, the news saying right-wingers will attack sports stadiums and malls and mass shootings and bombings and police. There will be improvised explosive devices. Ex-military will bomb every department in America. They've been saying that for 4 years. We're like, that's ridiculous, unless they know something's going to happen. If somebody kept saying, somebody's going to burn down the church, and everybody's in the church of like 200. These have been real cases. Going, why do you keep saying that, Bob? I don't know. Somebody's going to burn it down. We should have insurance. Then the church burns down the next week. Who's the first person the cops go and talk to? Bob, who said somebody might burn down the church. I mean, this is 101 criminology, that you've got the White House going, right-winger libertarians, anti-Obama, pro-gun people are going to blow stuff up any minute. Get ready. They're going to hurt our children. They're the new terror threat, bigger threat than Al-Qaeda, who the government's giving Libya and Syria, and giving heat-seeking missiles in Benghazi. I mean, this is no-brainer stuff, ladies and gentlemen. No-brainer. So here's the number for police. I want to get your take on this. 800, police only, or military, who are currently active duty. 800 1-800-259-9231, 1-800-259-9231. But as God is my witness, dude turned white. We were in the war room in there, and he goes, he's talking to his wife, he talked to her brother, who's in Army intelligence, who dude has arguments with. He's like an officer. And he goes, oh, my God, my brother-in-law was running the marathon and was there at the end when the bombing happened, but they pulled him out right before. And I go, you got to come on air right now. So literally, the break-ins from a video we were playing, I walk him in and I go, your brother was running security with the 400 troops? He goes, no. He was running it. And then you heard the story. I mean, that was like, he hung the phone up, turned white, said, I can't handle this anymore, walks in here on air. And I mean, this is like a movie, folks. This is like a movie, what's going on. And then, of course, there's a drill, and then we send Dan Bidandi to 2 different press conferences to ask about drills, and they say there are no drills, there is nothing happening. And then we're conspiracy theorists for saying it when it's in 2 local newspapers, Boston Globe, one other here in my stack, and Local 15 TV. What is that, an NBC affiliate? So, and we're going to play that clip for you. The full newscast is up on Infowars.com. It's also up on DrudgeReport.com. But do you understand the frustration of this? I mean, I study. This is what I do. I'm a leading expert. They've had university books written in England and the United States. They have university classes on what I cover. They've got top, I'm not bragging. I mean, no one else seems to study this except the people that are doing it. And I sit here like a private detective watching this, studying this, interviewing, former Italian presidents and former, number 3 in the Japanese government and former, European Union officials who were in the former head of the former German defense minister, Andres von Bülow. I want to get him back on. Wrote the book, CIA Stage 9/11. And he was in the meetings. I mean, he's high level. It's a fact they were involved. I mean, I'm fully immersed in this, okay? And sure, when you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail. But I don't go with that mindset. I'm actually looking at this, hoping this, I'm sad it happened, but hoping it's a real grassroots deal, because then it's not the government doing it, because that's 100 times worse, folks. We try to prove that it's an organic operation. Joe Stack, 60% chance he probably did it, because they just ruined his life, took everything he had, and he just flipped out and said, you're getting nothing, I'm burning down the house, and I'm coming after you. Now, there was a lot of bizarre Defense Department connections to where he had his plane and stuff, but look, all I know is they use this to get our liberties. So there was a drill from start to finish, and they don't want to talk about it, and they're calling it a conspiracy theory. Just like they said the first day they ignored it. I mean, we're there watching it. As they start surrounding him, I shoot a YouTube video, upload it, time-stamped, and say they're going to probably burn him down, that standard operating procedure. An hour later, they burn him down. Then the audio all gets recorded of 6 different groups saying we're going to burn him down. And then they say, you're a conspiracy theorist. How dare you, Alex Jones? They said that, but it doesn't mean that. Some media said they just didn't say that. Talking to you like you're stupid. 800-259-9231. We're going to go to phone calls after I play these clips. But let's first go to Dan Bidandi. There's 2 different press conferences in the evening and then late at night. This became national news. They shut the press conference down with the governor when he got the first question in and wouldn't shut up about false flags. And he says, no, there was no false flag. And in the other press conference, he says, were there drills? What was happening with the exercise? And they just said, we had no prior knowledge. There was no exercise. So there was an exercise. That's in the Boston Globe. That's in the other local paper. And it's in News 15, but buried. And there's witnesses all over the place. And Rob Dew's brother-in-law, they come up and go, oh, you need to go to the hospital. And he's like, why? Well, we just think you're sick. They let you urinate on yourself, vomit, crawl across the finish line, but they pull him out, and then minutes later there's a bombing at the finish line. Okay? And there's 400 troops there. The image of troops and the wreckage. We're being acclimated to all this. And now they're saying troops are going to be everywhere. And I've always told you, don't be part of drills. Because most of the time it isn't a staged attack. But when there is an attack, it's a drill. It's always a drill. Because when they get caught with the bombs, they always, this happened before, they always say, in Gladio, the Russians have been caught, NATO's been caught, they say, oh, I'm part of a drill. Because 99% of the police aren't part of it. It was a drill on 7/7 where they told the young Muslims, be part of a drill for the UK, your good liberal school teacher Muslims, and they blew them up, folks, on the train and on the bus. And one guy figured it out and was running, and they executed him in Canary Wharf. And then that was taken out of the newspaper with a D notice. A federal emergency notice had that removed. Witnesses saw them, they gunned down several guys, chased them down and gunned them down, you know, right there in front of the tourist district. Because they figured out what happened. And I'm telling you, do not be part of a drill. If you're police, if you're military, they're getting ready to say military are terrorists. All they do is tell military intelligence has been sheep-dipped into domestic operations. Hey, you're now going to go be part of this drill, carry this and simulate being a terrorist. And most of the time, they're not going to do it. But let me tell you, 1 out of 100 drills or so, they're going to blow it up. Or they're going to tell you leave it, and then you're going to get arrested. You're going to get drugged up. You're going to get tortured. You're going to get electroshock therapy until you go before the military tribunal and say that you bombed the Sears Tower, or you bombed the mall, or you bombed the school. I'm going to tell you, it's just like Arlington Road. The professor's trying to stop it, and they trick him to run, you know, to be on the news and then run into the parking garage when it goes off. I mean, they're telling you how they do it right there, okay? I'm getting chills. And I told you this was going to happen yesterday before it happened. Let's go to Dan Badandi at one of the press conferences. This is confronting the governor. Here it is.
Have you take any questions?
Oh, sir, why are the loudspeakers telling people in New York to stop? Be calm, moments before the bomb went off. Is this another false flag stage attack to take our civil liberties, pull over Homeland Security, sticking a hand down on the kids on the streets?
No. Next question.
You have said that there's no suspect.
Good morning. The medical people are compiling that as we speak.
Again, why are we speaking telling people to be calm?
Extent of the injuries.
Main point of focus right now.
Okay, why don't you do something on speakers telling people to be calm before the bomb went off? I want to answer that question.
Currently in your search for additional devices, are you searching the entire...
So the investigation is in the area that the governor mentioned.
Why was people going off?
Are there any unaccounted for people? If so, how was it?
We're actually working very closely with the families right now. We're going through those right now.
Why was people being told prior?
9:30 tomorrow morning will be the next briefing. Thank you.
The bombs went off the same time.
Right there.
That's a false flag, gentlemen.
All right.
This is Piers Morgan Live.
And that was the initial video we got off Fox News. I actually, driving home last night, heard local news playing clips of the press conference. It was crystal clear. And Badandi was there with his mic, flagged, InfoWars, up on the podium. As soon as he can get that uploaded to YouTube, we'll have better quality for you. But that totally flipped out the media, and it's called conspiracy theory. Now, here's Badandi earlier talking to the governor and commissioner as well, asking about the bombing and drills. Here's that clip.
Hey guys, Leanne McAdoo here at the Austin, Texas InfoWars News Center. Our East Coast reporter Dan Badandi is on the scene, and he was able to get in this question at the news conference.
We are looking at all of that right now. That's one of the investigative steps that we're taking.
Have a company suspects.com. They said they were doing drills this morning for the same exact thing that happened on BorsaBook.com. Now, were you guys given any warning ahead of time of this taking place?
As I said earlier, there was no specific intelligence. We certainly increase posture around a big event like this. All of those things happened in preparation for this event, but there was no specific intelligence that anything was going to happen.
Now, we've got that story on our...
All right, that's good. The full clip's up on Infowars.com right now. And again, Badandi was able to talk to police again, and they said, no drills, no nothing. But you noticed there was no specific intelligence. Oh, really? You didn't know that satchel the guy's placed had real explosives in it? You didn't know that? So we're going to be going over all of this now. Now, here's the coach. This is the shorter clip. The full clip's up on Infowars.com. DrudgeReport.com also has it. Coach, bomb-sniffing dogs, spotters on roofs before explosions. And then in the very area, they kept making announcements to the participants, do not worry, it's just a training exercise, kind of like 9/11. Stay at your desk, everything's fine. Or just over and over again, the Aurora shooting, it's fine, it's just a drill. Let's go ahead and now go to that clip.
At the start line this morning, they had bomb spotters on the roof of the building, and they had bomb-sniffing dogs coming up and down at the start line, and Melanie said there was bomb-sniffing dogs at the finish line, but they kept making announcements saying to the participants, do not worry, this is just a training exercise. Well, evidently I don't believe they were just having a training exercise. I think they must have known, they must have had some kind of threats or suspicions called in.
No kidding. And again, they're lying about that. That is undoubted. And again, we're breaking the real news. We're forcing the real issues out in the open. We're engaged in real journalism. So I salute Dan Bidandi. At both press conferences, he got the first questions down and out, and they just shut the press conferences down. I mean, they were going to grandstand for an hour. You know they were. And the press still had more questions. But Bidandi was there going, you were running a drill. You were running a drill. Boston Globe, you were running a drill. You were running a drill. And the governor looked like he was about to have a heart attack and looked so angry. And the media's like, the governor was angry that such stupid questions would be asked. Of course there was no drill. In fact, it's the media that denies it for them. There was no drill. There were no police dogs. There were nothing. It was, everything's fine.
Prepare yourself for a talk radio experience like no other.
Strap yourselves in and hold on.
He stands for truth. He stands for justice. He stands for what's right. This is the Alex Jones Show. Now live from Austin, Texas, here's Alex Jones.
We have Tom, who's a police officer, he says, in Iowa. Ben, who says he was IDF counterterror. That's Israeli Defense Force. And Anthony, Oregon, who's the Army. And I want to get your take into the bottom of the next hour. Then Joel Skousen, who is a real terrorism expert, in my view. He's going to be joining us. Doug Hagman as well, who was telling me off air and on air Monday. It's imminent. And then I got to talk to one of his federal sources. And by the way, I have federal sources. A lot of people find that hard to believe. I know the federal government's full of people that don't like what's happening, and there's really no discipline up there right now. You know, that's why so much of this can come out, because the rest of the Secret Service and people are off with hookers doing drugs, and then the good guys are sitting there just not knowing what to do. That's why they're prosecuting whistleblowers, trying to scare people now. And then Stuart Rhodes of Oath Keepers is going to be popping in. It's a jam-packed transmission. We have free video feeds and audio feeds at Infowars.com/listen. And even if you're watching right now, post it to your Facebook, your Twitter. We'll retweet out there. But Family Guy, to be specific, and I'm going to your calls. In one episode, he runs over people at the finish line of the Boston Marathon, and then he detonates 2 bombs. So that's the clip that's up on Infowars.com. And my issue is, Doug Hagman of the X-Files came to me, and he said, you know that episode where the government flies a hijacked jet in the World Trade Center, a criminal element, to basically set up a police state? The CIA planted that story on us and asked us to put that in 6 months before 9/11. And I mean, it's just incredible where they're going to blame Afghanistan for it and stuff. Why? I mean, is it coincidence? That's up on Infowars.com right now. But let's go to who's up first here. Who's been holding the longest? Let's go to Ben in Mass, who says he's been with the IDF counterterror. Then we'll go to Tom and Anthony. Ben, what do you think about what's going on?
Okay, I'm a longtime listener. Enjoy the show very much. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you for calling.
Okay, a few quick points, and I'll just let you run with it. Number one, false flag subversion can be used to undermine faith in the government. There are many factions in competition with each other. Not all roads lead to the White House. The right hand does not necessarily know what the left hand is doing. This reminds me of Benghazi in many ways. Sometimes cops are not cops. There are units that can wear any kind of uniform to do the operation.
Absolutely, yep.
This may be an attack on Obama. There will be additional suspects at large. That will bring the information to really know what's up. Also, the Hawk Survive to Thrive broadcast from Thursday, April 11th may have some significance. There's a lot of information in that show, and I think we should all listen to it.
What did they say? Shadows of this, or?
Yes. He said it's about to go wild weasel, He was talking about OTMs crossing the border, the Mexican border, talking about Ahmed Rodriguez and Ahmed,
Oh, you're talking about a real right-wing triple false flag, letting real Muslims in to do a terror attack to point out that Obama's turning the whole world over to Muslims?
Right, like Benghazi, to destroy his credibility.
But why would Obama order the stand-down of the Joint Chiefs and CENTCOM if it was a setup of Obama on Benghazi?
Could be that the Joint Chiefs are just incompetent and they're partying like everyone else. I mean, the security forces are just sucking up money. They don't seem to be doing anything, really, and we're not safe. So that may be another message we're supposed to receive from this event.
Yeah, I will say that most of the giant spy network that's in the U.S. now go around bragging that they're spies and driving around in black SUVs. I mean, it's ridiculous. It is totally ridiculous. I mean, do you have any specifics on this, or is this your gut from watching this event?
I don't have intel as far as people.
Are you currently in counterterrorism in the Israeli Defense Force?
No, sir. I'm out of the game. It's all so corrupt and rotten.
I would imagine.
Hi, Ted Anderson, president of Midas Resources. With over 30 years of experience in the precious metals business, I can tell you without a doubt, we are facing the most dangerous and volatile times, not just in the United States, but worldwide. Peace of mind is gold and silver. Now is the time to invest in gold. When it comes to bullion coins, our prices are competitive and the closest to melt. If it's numismatics you're looking for, we have some of the best deals out there. Visit MidasResources.com today or go to Infowars.com and click on the link to see our daily specials. Here's an example of one of our long-term specials we've been offering for more than a year. 2 silver dollars from the turn of the last century, plus 2 powerful films, The Obama Deception and The American Dream. We also add in the book Dishonest Money, all for $72 and free shipping. The most trusted name in precious metals is Midas Resources. Call 1-800-686-2237 or go to Infowars.com. I'm Ted Anderson with Midas Resources.
We are now only entering the edge of a global financial superstorm, the likes of which the planet has never seen. Here in the United States, the private Federal Reserve is giving more than $85 billion of taxpayer money a month to themselves and other offshore foreign banks. And the worst part is, we have to pay the bank's interest on the money we give them. There is now a race between the global central bank mafia cartels to see who can devalue their country's currencies the fastest. We are already seeing big increases in inflation at the grocery store and the gas line. This will eventually lead to hyperinflation. More than a dozen top globalists like George Soros have been buying record amounts of gold while at the same time bad-mouthing it to the public. Don't just listen to what they say. Watch what they do. For more than 6,000 years of recorded human history, gold has been the ultimate hedge against uncertain times and inflation. Before investing in metals, it is important to do your own research and find a reputable company. Midas Resources has the highest Better Business Bureau rating of an A+. Unfortunately, very few precious metal companies can boast that. Midas Resources has assembled one of the most educated, researched, and professional teams of brokers in the industry. The evidence is overwhelming. In uncertain times, gold and silver is safe harbor. Now is the time to invest in gold. Call 800-686-2237 and Midas Resources will mail you 10 reasons to own gold absolutely free. No shipping. It's absolutely free. And finally, Ted Anderson wants to challenge you to find any deal that comes close to his 2 silver dollars at cost with free shipping with 2 free films and a book for $72. That's more than $160 value for $72 shipping included. Click the link at Infowars.com to go to the MidasResources.com specials page. Brought to you by MidasResources.com and Ted Anderson, the trusted name in precious metals. All right, we're into hour number 2. I want to go quickly to Army and police. That Army guy I was going to next, he just hung up. 800-259-9231. I want to get your take on what you've seen. Coming up, I'm going to play clips. They're openly trying to say the Tea Party did it, as I told you they would do. Now, that doesn't mean that's not who they won't ultimately blame, but we called it first, and it's not hard to call it. Let's go ahead and go to Tom, who is a police officer in Iowa. What is your take on all this, Tom?
God bless you, Alex. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can. Yes, sir, I can.
Oh, God bless you and the crew for risking your lives, breaking the real news. I salute you. I've been in law enforcement for 25 years. This was absolutely a false flag. I'm just wondering when they're going to bring their Adam Lanza or James Holmes out and try their truth serum that is totally fake drug. I'm just wondering when they're going to bring out their next patsy that is DARPA program, all drugged up on Prozac, Zoloft. But I have a hint that this patsy's probably going to be a patriot extremist. Never know what kind of characters they have in their programs. So I'm thinking they will find him, take him to jail, frame him like the Batman shooter. White House is pissed.
You know what, Tom? Your phone broke up there. Are you on a hands-free or go ahead and try again? You were talking about, their DARPA programs. Absolutely. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I'm just wondering when they bring out their next patsy that is in a DARPA program, all drugged up on Prozac, Zoloft. But I have a hint that this patsy's probably going to be a patriot extremist. Never know what kind of character they have in their programs. So I'm thinking they will find him, take him to jail, frame him like the Batman shooter or the Sandy Hook's hoax.
Yeah, all they do is keep you on Halcyon, one pill they use to extract wisdom teeth. To drug you up. You don't even know who you are when they're ripping your teeth out. They just give you a couple of those every day and give you a couple extra when you go before the trial, and you'll say that you're a monkey's uncle. You'll say that you're King Kong. You'll say that you're, Popeye. I mean, and now they're saying that they're drugging Holmes for the trial, and he's obviously bombed out of his brain. They could grab me and put me on it and roll me out to say I did whatever they want. I mean, you're absolutely right. But, hey, what about every TV show saying right-wingers are going to blow stuff up, building up? It's so obvious that's when they're about to do it, is when they run 6 months of that. That's the biggest thing right there, is the entire propaganda operation. What do you say to that?
Absolutely. They got Pillsbury Doughboy getting pat-downs. They're just trying to get us our mindset for having the Army right here out on the roads.
That's it. Now, when you talk to other police that you know, are they starting to wake up?
Yes, sir.
What do you think of the state police? That's a feedback there. What do you think of the state police coming out and saying, hey, we're in meetings with the feds asking if we'll arrest Christians en masse? I mean, how creepy is this getting?
It's terrible. Pretty soon, we're just all going to be in FEMA camps.
Well, I hope that's not the case. God bless you. By the way, I talked to Eric Muller, Mancow, this morning. I was on via phone on his #1 TV show, simulcast radio show in Chicago. And he said, listen, yesterday I got photos of this. By the way, ask Rob Dew about it. I told him to send them there. I talked to his producer. He's driving along and sees an Army truck with blonde-haired, blue-eyed dummies, bags, with bullet holes in them and dirt falling out. So he follows it to a gas station when they pull off, and he goes over and talks to the Army troops, and they go, yeah, no, we were at an exercise preparing for civil unrest. And, of course, you have the targets of 5-year-olds they're shooting. You have the admission of those drills. We have local witnesses on local TV saying they were running a drill, saying, don't worry, it's only part of a drill, with bomb-sniffing dogs. My reporter, Rob Dew, his brother-in-law, who's in Army intelligence and part of the official Army marathon team, was pulled out, quote, for dehydration and sent to the hospital. They came and pulled him out. He thought it was weird. They pulled him out. He was up near the front at the end of the race when the bomb went off. They pulled him out right before. Very, very bizarre. And they're trying to deny that even went on. They're trying to deny that there was a drill or that their guys were on the roofs. So very suspicious. And I've told you, I've seen troops on the streets, TSA checkpoints where I live. They're saying, get ready for the Tea Party to bomb America, which is the last thing the Tea Party would ever do. We know the globalists staged Oklahoma City. I'm in the film A Noble Lie that we sell, that has police officers there talking about the feds planning the bombs. Eyewitnesses to the fact that this very attorney general, who was deputy attorney general at the time, was involved in a cover-up. This is the same attorney general that ran Fast and Furious, that's killed thousands. thousands of people. Some numbers are 400. That's the most conservative. The most numbers are over 2,000. They run false flags. They've given 10,000 heat-seeking missiles to al-Qaeda. Saudi Arabia has been given control of Libya and Syria. Our government and NATO are backing them. So they're saying on one hand it could be al-Qaeda, and then saying Iran could be involved when Iran and al-Qaeda are at each other's throats, one Shiite, one Sunni. And then on the other hand, I'm about to play a bunch of clips and then go to your phone calls here. David, Brian, Craig, all of you, John, Eddie, we're going to get to all of you. Police, military, I want to hear from you on this. We have people that were at the marathon. Brian was at the marathon. We'll go to him first. Eddie, friend is a Fed, has intel. We're going to get to all of you. Just have your point quickly ready. But here's the deal. They want to use this to turn America into a police state. Okay, and that's who stands to gain. It's bigger than Obama. And they've been gearing up for this to happen. And that's why they're the prime suspects. That is somebody inside the shadow government. Because they've been caught doing it before. They stand to gain from it. And we've been predicting it. And you've seen the incredible buildup and propaganda in every drama, every sitcom, every police show that the Tea Party is going to blow up public events. Just every show. I turn on TV, you see it. Shows about remaking houses inject it somehow into nonfiction shows. I mean, it's just everywhere. Everywhere. It's the full demonization, and the police are being told, prepare to mass arrest Christians. That's in mainstream news, Fox News, and it seems crazy. That's all coming out now. Okay, are they getting ready, you know, piquing everybody's entrance like a whodunit, Agatha Christie, whodunit? Oh, is it the Muslims? And notice it's Muslims, right-wing. There's only two groups. It's right-wingers and Muslims. It's right-wingers and al-Qaeda. See, now they're flipping the script from al-Qaeda to right-wingers. They may go ahead and say it's al-Qaeda. But the point is they're already introducing right-winger Tea Party is the same as al-Qaeda. Gun owner, same as al-Qaeda. Regardless, this is the psych warfare event. And I said it and was demonized. I said it within 2 minutes of it being announced yesterday in Overdrive with Richard Belzer, right at 3 o'clock Central, when all this stuff happened, right at 4 Eastern. I said it, and within minutes, Salon, document cam shot, please. Within minutes. For TV viewers, you can watch us right now, free streams at Infowars.com/listen. Okay, so here's the document cam right here. Alex Jones, Boston explosion, a government conspiracy. And I said it will be a false flag to be blamed on the Tea Party and expand TSA reach. Now, that was my tweets. That's what I said on air. And they love the fact that one of the people tweeting for me did a typo, so it's real funny for them. You try doing a radio show and tweeting. Here's the blaze. With absolutely no evidence, Alex Jones calls Boston Marathon a false flag. Okay, they actually had my tweet. I said, our hearts go out to all those that have been hurt or killed, but the FBI has been behind virtually every domestic event, and I linked to the New York Times actually saying that. Doesn't matter. Then later, the Blaze came out an hour later and said they're going to blame right wing. So instead of saying I'm right, and I'm not at odds with the Blaze. They're always doing this to me, okay? Now, look who he's with, the George Soros media-ite. Alex Jones declares Boston a false flag operation, FBI behind every terror plot. No, I linked to the New York Times saying that, and I'm about to show you. So, again, act like only I said it and find a picture of me wearing camo that I wear maybe once a month to make it look like I'm in the militia, which is nothing wrong with that. Here you go. CNN national security analyst. Now, see, I'm a kook for saying this, but 1 hour later, CNN national security analyst warns of right-wing extremists behind Boston bombings. Boom. And we have a video clip of that we're going to in a minute. Axelrod, top White House minion, operative in the media. Obama thinks Boston bombings could be related to tax day, a patriot group. Oh, I thought I was a kook. I thought I was wrong. Salon, Media-ite, Media Matters, Glenn Beck. Look at this. Real Clear Politics. Sink saying, you know, it could be a right-wing guy. The Young Turks. CNN, right-wing extremists to blame for explosions. WorldNet Daily. Boston Marathon explosions already being blamed on the right from the Blaze. Well, wait a minute. I thought without any proof I said that was going to happen. I mean, I thought I'm a bad guy. But then right there, again, just come on, man. We're in the same trench. Stop doing this to me. Boston Marathon, the initial theories. London Independent, they predict it's right-wing extremists. Boom, I'm right again. Irish Examiner, right-wing. Expert says right-wing terrorists most likely have bombed Boston. That's how you demonize your political opposition. You bomb stuff, blame it on them. Can't beat them fair and square, stage a bombing, blame them. Without facts, pundits spread rumors and blame Boston bombing on the government. CBS News. What do you mean without facts? There's a drill, but you claim I claim there's a drill. CNN national security analyst warns of right-wing extremists behind Boston bombings. Town Hall. Boom. Breitbart. Same headline. Wolf Blitzer. Okay, so let's get it established. I said they would do this, not because I have a big brain. It's a no-brainer. Then I'm going to your phone calls. And then I'm wrong when it all comes true. Now, ladies and gentlemen, they are setting up to have these all over the country. If we accept this, get into the fear, the media's hyping it, this is the whole paradigm shift to go into total martial law to stop the Tea Party bombing everybody and to get Republicans to apologize for what the Tea Party's done. If they blame it on the Tea Party and Republicans apologize, it's over. Total communist takeover run by foreign offshore banks. We've got to understand they stand to gain from this. They have the history. They did Fast and Furious. I mean, security services for hundreds of years have been famous for staging their own bombings and shootings to take control. They're always the #1 culprit taught in mainline criminology and history books. But Alex Jones said, hey, they're running a drill and told people be calm before it happened, and we're pulling members of the Army running team out to protect them right before it happened. Oh, Alex Jones says they're going to blame the right wing, which they're doing. He's bad. Brian in Mass says you were at the marathon. Thank you for calling in today. Glad you're okay, or hope you're okay. What can you tell us, sir?
Well, thanks, Alex, for putting me on the show here today. I appreciate everything that you're doing.
Thank you.
Okay, so what I want to do is, I don't know if I had bad luck or not. I'm actually originally from Connecticut. I actually work at Newtown High School. I'm a coach there, but my girlfriend lives up here, and she goes to BU, and I decided to do the 5K run before. The day before the Boston Marathon they do, and it was the same exact pretty much run down there by the finals. So I kind of ran down there the day before running by all that stuff, which was kind of pretty eerie. But where it happened, where I was about 1.5 miles from where it ended on Beacon, and I didn't hear the bombs where I were, but my girlfriend's roommate was down there a little bit closer, and she heard everything, and it was just incredible. And just to relate back to the Sandy Hook thing, and I've been doing a lot of research there, been listening to YouTube for a while, and everything is just going, everything's just twisted, and everything's kind of just bringing itself together. All these false flag events are really, the same feeling from Sandy Hook I'm getting here now, and it was hard to sleep last night.
Well, look, I mean, this is a global corporate empire. It's got to have events to keep control of the people. And I'm just glad they didn't kill more people to sell their police state. But it's not going well for them, just like the underwear bomber. The government got the guy on the plane. We broke that here. And later it came out in Congress that, indeed, they ordered him to be allowed on the plane, and that everybody said he was drugged up. So I'm glad you're okay. Good to hear from you. And let's go to the next caller here. Let's go to Eddie in Texas. Says his friend is a Fed, has intel. Eddie, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Alex. Yeah, I was just sitting here, and a buddy of mine, he has a federal job, and he told me, I got to stop by your shop. And I said, sure, why not? So he comes over here, and he tells me, we talk about the bombing and whatnot, and then he tells me, okay, there's reasons I can't give you, but I feel bad if I didn't give you a warning. Buy as much ammo as you can. The only thing I can tell you is buy as much ammo as you can. His friend in the Pentagon he will not give me any critical information as to why, but he just told me buy as much ammo as you can, double it. I don't care if you have 21 shotguns or whatever, you double that by the end of the month.
Wow, so you talked to your source, and he said his friend at the Pentagon just said get as much ammo as you can.
That's exactly what he said, and I told him, did they declare martial law in Boston? He said, no, they declared a state of emergency. It's different. And I said, well, I heard different things, and he said, all I'm going to tell you and all I'm authorized to tell you is the same thing I've been telling you. Buy more ammo. And he told me
absolutely. Look, the state police came out in Colorado last week and said, we've been told to prepare to confiscate the guns of Christians only. I mean, right there, the whole government should be arrested. And then Fox News reports, yeah, the Army's being told evangelicals and Catholics and other Christians are in with al-Qaeda, and they're listed as extremist. I mean, it's an authoritarian takeover. And we're going to get Joel Scalz's take on this. You know, he's always thinking it's more down the road, but they can always move timetables up when they're behind. I mean, you've got all the North Korea craziness going on, the Iran craziness, and maybe they're testing us right now, but we're going to find out. Thank you, Eddie. Let's talk to Dave, who's in the Marine Corps. Dave, what is your take on all this?
How you doing, Alex?
I'm not doing too good. I mean, have I not been saying? I mean, when every show says the Tea Party's going to blow up public events, I mean, that's pre-programming. I mean, I've seen them do this before. This looks bad. Go ahead. What do you think's happening?
I'm going to tell you exactly what's happening. Martial law is coming in a couple of days. The next thing is, in the video, 2 seconds before the blast, in Intel, the lady with the black shirt, black shorts, she's the last one to cross the finish line before the bombs goes off. The four first letters are 1979. That's very important. Every historical event in 1979 leads up to what has started in January and leads up to December. Margaret Thatcher, she became Prime Minister in 79. Iran, with the hostages in 1979.
I am being demonized. How dare Alex Jones say that the Tea Party would be blamed? When, of course, they did. How dare Alex Jones say that there was a drill when there was a drill? And they had loudspeakers saying, "Be calm, it's no big deal. Never mind, we're placing, you know, these pressure cooker bags next to you." It's just, they do these false flags so ham-fistedly, always the same MO with the drill. It looks like there weren't even probably patsies, though they'll probably present a drugged-up patsy very, very soon, bombed out of their mind on Halcyon and, you know, 5 other drugs. So real briefly, cut to the chase there, Dave. Is this something you speculate on the messages they like to leave calling cards, like the Ace of Spades, or is this intel you're getting from your sources in the Marine Corps?
This is intel that we get from the Marine Corps. This is a domestic false flag. It's not international. The building did not blow up. That was that would have been international. This is all domestic. This is the false flag. There is one more event that's going to take place. It's domestic, and I'll send you an email, but I can't talk more.
What you're being told by what area of the Marine Corps are you in?
I can't tell you.
Well, I mean, specifically, though, you know, sometimes they tell you guys stuff that is going to happen, but it really doesn't. But you're being told that within days there's going to be an event that triggers martial law?
Yeah. Yeah. I just watched the price of oil. Also, a certain embassy.
Well, I noticed that gold imploded yesterday. The stock market went down big time, and then all this started. Big things afoot with Iran, big things afoot with North Korea. A very bizarre time. Thank you so much for the call, sir. God bless you. Visit Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. When you're on the site, you can also tune in 24 hours a day to my daily radio broadcast. There's also a free iPhone app to listen to the syndicated radio show when and where you want.